willingly answered all the questions. Time Omoka from he made himself available. And that is the same thing we would expect from a Kufuado. As for Bawumia, Vice President, there will need immunity. A president now, constitution, certain immunities from prosecution. That does not apply to a vice president. Enti, Omoboa PDS are conform Omobebuji Sika over 2 billion cities, live dosa, Omafedikwa, Amagana, Boka. $180 million a US workers on the prayer and talking about Bawumia. And now are benefiting from illegally so sourced contracts. Our Auditor General, I established, said all those contracts were overpriced 3 times more the price I wasn't Kagana buying Tria. All these people who face the music of accountability, they should make no mistake about it. It is an important precedent. Let's take note of it. Nedru ona ya MPP fu soldier. Ni ase Brazil ID headquarters ana OSP ho be dede mo bia. Emma because President Mahama all kono no kwa no ko. Party go di nechi no.
Yeah, Sammy, this brings me to my next question. After the announcement or the presser by the special prosecutor, no, who MPP phobia omakasa, like the Deputy General Secretary of the NPP. I mean, I should not relevant to me. Should I name the ding? Or a DBSA and a member of Parliament, Mr. Pia Kubi, and Swakasa. Now, Ibim said the OSP did a bad job. I honestly, I don't think Sanka OSP by no Kakasa Mahama is guiltier and Kamobeka said the OSP did a bad job. So, but some of the arguments they are making in the say, excuse me, argument in the say, John Mahama, as far as Omakasa or yeah, government official one, at a point he was the chairman of the Armed Forces Council, no, and became a president. No, he sat through meetings. He had direct influence on this process. Now, it brings me to this: there are a lot of agencies that has been put together, and these agencies are directly under the office of the president. When you pick an agency like the Free SHS, it falls directly under the office of the president, meaning it takes direct instructions from the president's office. If anything goes wrong with the Free SHS Secretariat, something goes wrong, it's a planting for food and jobs, which was basically established under the office of the president. Say, come and I is simpler. A president, technically, Nipa Omuye Jumaman directly, no, a president in the office, which is Ekufuado. One district, one factory was established under the president's office. We have agencies like Infrastructure for Poverty Eradication Program, IPEP, your Ghana School Feeding Program under the office of the president, your Railway Development, your Agenda 111. Would it be fair in the future if an investigation is open into all these agencies that were directly under the office of the president and the president is called to also answer questions? Would it be fair if in the future anything like that happens?
Yeah, it will be very fair, very, very fair. But you see, let me deal with Sansin Bununa Omwa and then Nguasia to Omonomo Kekam. You see, MPP for any Munguas. And then, my sources at Jubilee House tells me that after the press conference of Kisie Jaben, the place was in a mess. Arewa bomb, Omo Ponto of Akufiko. Because Omo leaders swore to destroy John Mahama and the Unyamia saying by ensuring, say, special prosecutor, the no cre, Trodono, Ebeba Bonte. And so they are now shifting the goalposts. The can almost say, special prosecutors say, you keep for now one. Inti no chere say if you know no seem to be on why near humanity. Simplicity because you see the UK authorities Omunya san omutitin sansem we nyina involving Airbus, which is a company registered in the UK. No? They engage in civil negotiations to find an amicable settlement with Airbus. So once they have settled the matter with Airbus, no, by law, omun to me, mama check the moon say we na Airbus, they cannot do that. I don't think it's yet Matinami do call UK SFO for mutual legal assistance or why or share information. He didn't get any feedback. Kisia Jaben so called and he didn't get any feedback because the law will not allow the UK authorities to divulge any information. And Kisia Jaben so and yes, Kisia Jaben say UK for no information to me the anyone and media draw me conclusion. No. Or say because UK for information or more monsan kanintino or no one kasa from scratch. So he conducted a full probe on his own. Paragraph 6.1, it is there will say the OSP's mutual legal assistance requested from the UK and US authorities place the OSP in a position no better than any person who read the DPA and the decisions of the UK and US courts on the Airbus matter. It was not a lack of industry or want of trying on the part of the OSP. In the end, the OSP conducted the investigation on its own. However, the DPAs, that's the deferred prosecution agreements, and the decisions of the UK and the UK courts served as a vital foundation for the OSP's investigation. Otwaso Beka from Hossein. Therefore, the OSP investigative outcomes are substantially similar to that of the SFO and the DOJ, that is the Department of Justice of the United States of America. And you say, why you should work? Or say, yes, information I made, but I conducted my own investigations. All the people involved, including John Mahama, I identify, he interrogated all of them. The UK SFO did not interrogate John Mahama. The United States DOJ did not interrogate John Mahama. But Kisia Jaben, the special prosecutor of Ghana, interrogated John Mahama. And to Olupono, more comprehensive investigations. And I'll say, the Ohu, any USFO, any UK4, which is that, number one, Kevin. Process now, even before I go to the process, you see, there are a lot of the people now, almost say Airbus, and then John Mahama, they don't really understand it. Why should John Mahama be involved in the procurement of aircrafts? Let's help them. You see, John Mahama in 2009 became Atamel's vice president.
Yeah.
Ghana, so we are vice president, automatically, we are chairman of police council and chairman of the Ghana Armed Forces Council.
Yeah.
Now we are chairman automatically. And a soldier for Air Force, the final approval must be given by the Ghana Armed Forces Councilor, chairman, a vice president. And Tiko Pencil 2008, and Ghana Air Force Council, place in Ayadada. It's peacekeeping. They are not safe, so they want to change it. So at the time, the Americans even wanted to give us planes maybe for free and even train our pilots. But I for buy, sign money delay. So America arrangements now working. Place now no time one year, which is by 2011, not ain't ready by that. So Abai decided say, similar aircraft able to the same work, but even at a cheaper cost. And until Ghana soldier for when your politicians, the Ghana Armed Forces, specifically the Air Force, settled on plane a friend of Casa C295. Say so the military command took their own decision. and they came to inform Abai. Abai no one and down man John Mahama as vice president. So John Mahama had to be involved in the discussions. Say plain belly and talk. What type, what specification? A boy belly and talk. You bet to me at one Swamagana, Sebusikana. That was John Mahama's role in the arrangements. And just John Mahama was a busybody sitting somewhere and Ghana so that Foko to play or then work for the womb. It is because his work made him the chairman of the Ghana Armed Forces Council. Now, the special prosecutor found 5 important things, and quickly let me run through them. Number 1 is the procedure Ghana bind the tall aircraft. Special prosecutor said, if you move in actually a Ghana Air Force for Ghana Military Command for my first audio plane. A choir and mratcher was also faso. A star choir so. And these 3 aircrafts are from Casa, your friend of Casa 295. I cut off from Airbus. Yes, I quite now so and NDC are buying a faso. Young Quetim Brano, young Quetin Shayano. We follow due process. And so open evidence now. You can look at the reports, specifically paragraph 6. Points, most starting reading from 6.3. Or say the OSP investigation shows that in the general scheme of affairs, the acquisition of operational assets by the Air Force is driven by national and operational requirements. When a need is identified, the Air Force Command develops a technical paper upon which providers are requested to make presentations on technical details, logistical support, and cost. If a provider meets the requirements, a formal contract in the form of a sales and purchase agreement are drafted by the provider for the consideration of the Air Force. Thereafter, stakeholder meetings are held among representatives of the Air Force, Attorney General's Department, Department of Legal Services of the Ministry of Defense, the Judge Advocate General's Office, and the provider, aimed at arriving at a consensus on outstanding issues and conflicting positions and resulting amendments to the draft agreement. Thereafter, the agreement is submitted to the Ministry of Defense for cabinet and parliamentary approvals. The Air Force then constitutes a compliance team to work closely with the provider to ensure that the delivered item meets the agreed specifications. The processes leading to the purchase by the government of Ghana of the 3 C-295 twin turboprop military transport aircraft from Airbus followed substantially the same pattern. The same pattern. Not just a processor, you little plane, a fleet, ABC Neno. Special prosecutor say, and no one at John Mahama and NDC are buying fast. Military no need request nebeba. You will say we here see a plane, they are requested for proposals. Among for the proposals, the bar near Rebborn, near choose to the Rebboa, near Yamushi in an parliament for approval. This is the same thing that happened. Planes we need now were approved. What kind of report they will? The second thing the special prosecutor found out, and a lot of people don't know this, and I was see a pure madrid is so. John Mahama knew your friend Samuel Adam Foster. Special prosecutor establishes only Airbus for a contractor or your agent long before say Airbus for could decide say on aircraft Samagana. Only Airbus aye juma with Kenya, Rwanda, Uganda, and in Nigeria. Even before Ghana transaction.
So and you say Abia John Mahama be vice or president and okoje license be quickly because of per se. So he was already doing his business. He's an agent already.
As a pilot in South Africa in the year 2000. Trained as a pilot. So he's somebody who already understands the aviation industry.
Yeah.
And or your consultant or board these aircrafts to get deals with nations. and Wabua in Kenya. Okay, report now is all there. Wabua in Onyoma Nigeria, Zambia, Uganda. Now, in the case of Ghana, Nimpodie, the decision by Ghana by say Kasa 295 aircrafts no, and no never Ghana. Inti no never say your top. Na yan top free Airbus no. Ghana by taking that decision no way ahead after and sana John Mahama Nuanipu all basa transaction with. Inti enya John Mahama Nuana no ne Airbus ye adwuma dada won kronkro bebre so no. Ebe ka kire John Mahama ne Ghana ban say mo me koto plane Kasa 295 nyen free Airbus for all. The special prosecutor has found that Ghana government had already taken the decision to buy the aircrafts before John Mahama's brother came into the picture. Where is my evidence? Paragraph 6.6.
6.6. Mamin kai no bim bekasa okay kan there to go for him. 6.6 says I'm sorry, it's quite small. It also appears that Foster and his associates became involved as intermediaries in the Airbus Ghana deal after the decision by the government of Ghana in preference of the C295 aircraft.
After the decision by the government of Ghana in preference of the C295 aircraft. Johnson over intermediary for Airbus. Now Ghana decided say plane a year Kasa 295 that the decision had been taken. Therefore,
it seems that Foster's Airbus intermediary role at the time his brother served as the vice president of Ghana was a case of luckless coincidence that attracted the disapproval of the UK and US authorities.
This is somebody who is an agent for Airbus in other countries. In the case of Ghana, Ghana took its own decision. And the soldiers took the decision, not John Mahama. The military took the decision to buy this Kasa 295 aircraft from Airbus because it is stronger, it is cheaper, and it could be delivered in good time. And Sakra John Mahama Riano, Airbus an intermediary in the transaction.
Yeah.
So how did that influence the transaction? Then number 3, Kevin. The special prosecutor found said, yes, John Mahama as chairman of the Ghana Armed Forces Council, he was involved in the negotiations between Ghana and Airbus to get a good deal. Now, the Oye I said, when we can't special prosecutor said, Mahama did it with good intentions. I'm quoting the special prosecutor. Now, apart from negotiations that John Mahama participated in, Airbus in paying for Ghana, no one called John Mahama office, na Minister of Finance, or on my meeting in the presence of other people. Or the same man, John Mahama, or ye no Ghana ye na na wope. Nemo eba Nimriano, Samuel Adam Foster. Ni agency agreement on Airbus for the one. Special prosecutor say John Mahama no ni motion. None in Sebian, and you know, the catcher Airbus say, Monko family as an agent. Because Nimriano, years before Airbus came to Ghana to sell aircraft to us, was already working with them. And the evidence no paragraph 6.5. If I talking Kaima,
6.5.
Yeah.
Wait, I said so for a you. All right, 6.5. The OSP investigations found no evidence that former President Mahama was involved or played any role in the procurement and maintenance of the agency relationship between Airbus and Foster and his associates in respect of the purchase by the government of Ghana. I'm sorry. Let me take this again. I'm also reading from the phone like the way you're reading from the phone. So the OSP investigation found no evidence that former President Mahama was involved or played any role in the procurement and maintenance of the agency relationship between Airbus and Foster and his associates in respect of the purchase by the government of Ghana of military transport aircraft from Airbus. And it appears to the OSP that the direct communications and meetings between the former President Mahama and officials of Airbus to close the deal were actuated by good intentions on the part of the former.
Good. And the back agency dealer, John Mahama no be more. But the back John Mahama participation in the negotiations are also
he had good intentions. Yeah.
And now the American say first away John Mahama only Airbus why you Airbus for Ghana no evidence no paragraph 6.16 into baby I wanna from kakra 6.16 and also so can you bear me the pass 6.16
6.16
yeah
I can't. I'm sorry. Take it from there. You will read it through.
Okay. On the 6.16, I say it also appears to the Office of Special Prosecutor that the relationship between Airbus and Foster and his associates was neither one-off nor peculiar to the Airbus Ghana deal. Airbus had in place similar business partnership models with Foster and his associates in respect of business promotion in other African countries before the Airbus Ghana transaction ended up on.
Before that, Foster, they were in adequate down. Yeah.
In other African countries. This MPP force saying
yeah.
They can take a good person and demonize him who now baby so is evil. But that is their stock in trade. You see, my main found free agreement, and I mean found call script speech now, special prosecutor. Okay, I'm forwarding a copy to you on WhatsApp so you can follow the relevant portion because this is maybe I drew this is the most important part of the findings of the special prosecutor. This is the speech he read. Now, over page 1. Now, Obabe said, page 2. Okay. What are even page 2 on now? Over from 1 to page.
Indeed, maybe I highlighted Nana.
Okay. Even before that one, the paragraph before that.
This is because.
And to us, this because without seeking to critique the UK and US DPs.
Yeah.
The OSP found no evidence, circumstantial or direct, we mention later, which suggests that Foster and his associates were actually paid bribes, and which bribes were to be transmitted to former President Mahama, and that the bribes were actually paid to former President Mahama. Who were running? No credit you. All about bribery, because Akufo-Addo's complaint on the court special prosecutor. And then
OSP Cry is not limiting this to only his investigation, so he expanded it to the UK and the US investigations that established what UK and US said they did not find any bribery, corruption, monies paid to JM.
No bribery, nothing of that nature. No bribery. In fact, page 2 page 2 maybe I can which I second paragraph now.
Yeah.
Also, the OSP found no evidence that suggests that the involvement of Foster as an intermediary of Airbus and the direct communications and meetings between former President Mahama and officials of Airbus to close the deal between Airbus and the government of Ghana amounted to any corruption and corruption-related offenses in respect of which the OSP has a mandate. Into number 1, no bribe. John Mahama, wanje bribe, yentia bribe, Number 2, no corruption katasheshe proye bia so ni. Wadi kan mo say process no mo fa so pepepe. Ni nua no on Airbus for we adwuma in other African countries. Deal no cry no na negotiate here we answer na ni nua ni no conflict of interest. No corruption, no bribery. Now, I'm call the last page. Now, heard the way the special prosecutor concluded. And what now was 7 hour can is here, I dance here. Because the other special prosecutor knew, say, MPP for ya 12. Now, say what the reports in the Babontin say, oh, special prosecutor, boy, UK for say John Mahama Dufo. Now, a special prosecutor, now signed John Mahama T. So, the special prosecutor actually referenced the verdict of the Serious Fraud Office of UK on their investigations in respect of Samuel Adam Foster Mahama Miano and any business partners. And this is what is the letter UK abrofo. Eyo movie or Mahama Miano. And Kisia Jabe, they conclude the press conference and then they will say criminal investigation into Airbus, SC, and others. I write to notify you that UK for Kwesi Bruni na I write to notify you, Samuel Adam Foster, that following a review of the evidence in your case and consideration of the code for the Crown prosecutors, a decision has been made that you are not to be prosecuted for any offense in respect of the above serious fraud investigation. This decision might be reconsidered if a further review of this decision shows that it was wrong, and in order to maintain confidence in the criminal justice system, a prosecution should be brought or new evidence come to light. And a special prosecutor and the count you also. It has not come to the notice of the Office of Special Prosecutor
that the SFO has reconsidered its decision.
So
as it stands, it still stays. He's been cleared. Yeah.
Cleared in UK.
Yeah.
Cleared in Ghana. But then people do Trump say a UK found John Mahama the name of big guilty so much bribe. It is not there. This is the evidence. You see, Omar Shetty go post to two new things, which is in the judgment, the report of the OSP. So let's go back to the 25-page report. Now, you're clear, you really open cry many better. And before, just say, Ketrema die, they die, they padi, omkitemi. It's one way they will confuse you, this year. And they are using some journalists. This is the new agenda. And they would hear news and in rare. That is the new Spain. But I'm fat. Because you know, Shano no Shano. John Mahama, or Yabubrokos, Yadi said that. No souls are Robert or more chrono than to the chrono to the swan, about why intimate time. So, Tie, John Modiabane say, oh, special prosecutor, listen, John Mahama, and Bolivia, name Bumno, Nimiano, Ekanonintino, not conflict of interest. So
no.
we are talking about conflict of interest. Journalist. But the young the special prosecutor named Ekain, the young said, was it even a finding of fact? No. It was Nadjane, or no, can Nadjane. And I walk said, some people could have legitimate grounds to have suspicion. Suspicions. Yes, there is conflict of interest. But I said people could have suspicions. Now let me read that part to you. Paragraph 6.7 of the report.
6.7. Okay.
Now 6.8. Or say, in fact, let me start from 6.7 so that it will make sense. The OSP found no evidence that suggests that the involvement of Foster as an intermediary of Airbus and the direct communications and meetings between former President Mahama and officials of Airbus to close a deal between Airbus and the government of Ghana amounted to any corruption and corruption-related offenses in respect of which the OSP has a mandate. However, it ought reasonably to have occurred to former President Mahama that the government of Ghana that the familial relationship between former President Mahama and Foster and the direct participation by former President Mahama in the communications and meetings with Airbus officials were bound to raise reasonable suspicions, underline, of improper conduct and dealings, notwithstanding any claims to good faith conduct and above board dealings, especially in light of the fact that during the first Airbus campaign, former President Mahama was the chairman of the Armed Forces Council by reason of his position as the vice president, and therefore a key decision maker. Until the special prosecutor, he's not saying said there was conflict of interest. When he came who said Ghana taking the decision to buy the aircraft and Sakra John Mahama Miano ever be involved. And there was no corruption, no bribery, due process was followed. He is only saying, say, and I'm saying, actually, Airbus introduced John Mahama Mia as their agent. Now was saying John Mahama who said, Nimia can one idea. A bit to be a suspicion, he said conflict of interest view. That's all he's saying. Suspicions. And a multitude of suspicions doesn't constitute crime. It doesn't constitute a fact. And it is not true. Say, special prosecutor say, now there was conflict of interest. I said people could have legitimate grounds to have suspicions and one another.
But are we looking for corruption, bribery?
Oh, we are looking for suspicion.
We are looking for suspicion. That at the end of it, that's what the whole thing comes to.
What is the bottom line?
Yeah.
Was there corruption? Special prosecutor says no. UK and no. Was there bribery? Special prosecutor says no. Was there
it's like Jakwama Semia, Jakwama ambulance. Are we looking to retrieve our money as a nation, or because even Big C is offering to give you money? Yeah, that's the whole thing.
Exactly.
And these are journalists on TV. That is the argument they are making.
What you are trying to monitor the airwaves, this will be their new line. It will Ghana they are not here. What's in that is not what is there. He is not saying that there was conflict of interest. What Chim said there was no conflict of interest, no corruption, no bribery, due process was followed. He is only saying, say, Unmiaka Honintino. And was saying who said, among Phoebe to be suspicious, he said there is conflict of interest. Not that there was actual conflict of interest. Then he also continued, I believe, 6.10 or say, then again, the direct participation of the president and the vice president on behalf of the republic in commercial communications and meetings with commercial entities should not be encouraged either, as they expose these elected high officials to the specter of the slightest hint of perceived corruption that may attend international business transactions. The president and vice president should be insulated from such direct commercial dealings.
This is an advice. This is basically an advice.
Advice. Oh, where people follow when you go as an aquatam. Say, say, John Mahama, you body. So I'm not I said, I don't know what is going to happen.
This is an advice, straightforward. Yeah, quite nimuno. Mommy, who is say, you're paying for the nimuno. And that's all.
Any company because contract. President and vice president in China, no more ministers.
That's all.
And I don't know, but even me because I told you, the vice president, the president, they are really passionate about a certain transaction.
Yeah.
Their involvement alone to me, my businessman. Now, yet if you crack in our ordinary lives, Kevin. Everybody say you are looking for a certain deal. Loud silence media. On cry now when you're or your workers, let me put it that way. On more ability to get a good deal. And it's a one cause we negotiation.
Sometimes there are some source they talk to they are difficult to deal with. But at do point you almost say, okay, our boss will talk to you. And when I step in, the person opens up. So okay, you see, I'm like Kevin so I will give the information.
Because your system of governance is is a presidential system of democracy. All the executive powers of state are vested in the president. And on one minister, the minister is there at the behest of the president. That's why the president can hire and fire him. And when it's a minister now in the year, and one time say when you go the president so never. It's a true baby a vice president or a president can get involved in communications with an entity to ensure say adena yet the correct thing, the right specifications. We are getting value for money. We are getting delivery on time. There is nothing wrong with that. It's an attempt to shift the goalposts.
Yeah, there's one thing too. I mean, who said media need be here. They want to shift the whole thing too, especially when the announcement came out to say the former president has been exonerated and that Airbus are seminina. But you could see some of the news outlets. Almost captions need be to say special prosecutor unmask John Mahama as government official one. They leave it there. Yeah, and sometimes it's terrible because right now the argument is switching to government official one John Mahama. But the issue is you cannot vindicate John Mahama without unmasking who is government official one. Because go ahead.
System about a certain government official one.
Yeah.
So they talk saying once special prosecutor Becca said John Mahama is government official one. I was monitoring the press conference. Immediately the special prosecutor said John Mahama is government official one. Then the media guys started doing the flyers.
Yeah.
One can see the role of this so-called government official one. So what you say?
Because OSP because say government official one has been exonerated. Who is government official one?
Official one.
Yeah, you need to put a name there.
Now tells you this government official one was the vice president who was the chairman of the Armed Forces Council who had good intentions and therefore participated in the communications and meetings with Airbus to get a good deal for Ghana. And he had good intentions in tea. And so the as chairman of the Armed Forces Council and therefore participated in these things. Or you'll be a correct ranching. Even if the technocrats are doing the wrong thing, can find them. And this to tell everybody the man John Mahama now kind of wants him said he's a diligent man, he's a hard-working man. Or then start trying to send them from the president, the vice president, to be in the office. No, he gets involved in the work to ensure that the job is done. That is what this shows. So we now know say government official one know he papa. Now he had good intentions. Now anje bribe dia. Now anje kata hye de proye dia. Na eyedin say. In the government, maybe the baby we say. Unyame and apa MPP for Hontuma. Their cup is full. You see, there is judgment against the MPP. That is why and throw media to Mahama a collapse like a pack of cars. These days, the journalists they paid to destroy him. So who tells him Dubai. Most of them, I'm sure you have seen that they've come out to apologize to John Mahama. Most of them. And you see, John Mahama is a blessed man because leaders will be their vindication come after they have died.
Yeah, after. Yeah.
Because in Chroma, and so the truth was not told, did not manifest.